When you really understand how powerful shifting your identity is, you will make it a priority in your life to really create that identity that allows you to create and shift into the reality that you want, because identity shifting is the name of the game. That's really where most of your effort needs to be. That's really where most of your roadblocks are, is that you are hooked, blocked, anchored in an old paradigm, in an old identity, in an old way of seeing yourself and interacting with the world. And so you operate from those programs that you've created, that have been given to you for so long. And you're simply perpetuating that reality every single day when you're operating from those old patterns, those old way of thinking, of feeling, of acting, of making decisions, of showing up in your life in a certain way. And so as long as your core identity remain unchanged, as long as those core deep beliefs remain what they are now, you're going to keep on create fundamentally the same reality. And so if you want to shift certain things in your life radically, whether it's money, whether it's your relationship, your health, your confidence, your lifestyle, whatever area of your life you really want to magnify, transform, what you need to really understand in the most simple way is that the version of you that is living that lifestyle, that life, that abundance, that success, that whatever it is that you want, is different than the version of yourself that is living your current life. And the main difference there is in how that person sees himself or herself. Because I want you to really see this simple picture, right? Imagine that this is you here, your current level of consciousness, meaning this is how you are, this is how you see yourself, and this is how you operate right now in the world subconsciously most of the time, right? I'm not talking when you're doing your 5-minute affirmation, your 5-minute visualization, your 5-minute scripting, but during the day, when you're not paying attention, when you're thinking automatically, doing the same old stuff every single day, this is that level of consciousness, right? And so let's say you are on that level, and it's not good, bad, right, wrong, it's just this is where you are. This is the result that you're currently right now experiencing, creating in your life, right? And let's say that there is a certain goal. You want to be here, okay, in your life. That might be just the relationship, that might be the health, that might be the wealth and happiness. So whatever it is you want, let's say you have this objective of being here, right, on this mark, on this level of life. The main way to bridge the gap going from where you are to where you want to be is by realizing that those two persons are different, meaning like how you think, feel, act, decide here on this level is different from how you think, feel, act, and make decisions on that level in your life. And it sounds so simple, but it's not easy. And this is something you've heard a million times, is that, okay, you gotta start becoming, embodying, transforming and shifting your self-image or self-concept or identity, or whatever terms, right? But the main thing is that most people fall into somewhat of a trap at some point, right? Where they're doing all those things of doing affirmation, a bit of visualization, some of those powerful exercises, but they're never really truly embodying physically through their action that new reality. Meaning that when they stand up from the chair, right, after the visualization or the affirmation or the scripting, whatever it is, when they stand up from the chair, most people revert back to who they are, and they're not able to act as if they're already that person. They're not able to, at least at some level, show up with that new level of energy, with that new level of thinking, with that new level of what we could say delusion, right? Of feeling like I am already there, and dressing up that way, and making decisions that way, and prioritizing time, and facing certain fears, and letting some people go, and networking with new people, and putting yourself in different situations, and taking action, and doing those things that come very naturally for that new version of yourself. And so to give you a little bit of an example, when I was 22, I was a scuba diving instructor, living a great life on an island, diving every day, walking barefoot. That was my life. That was my identity. This is who I was back then. And when I realized very soon that this is not what I'm meant to be, this is not my purpose, this is not what I wanted to really do for the rest of my life. And when I realized what I really wanted to do, and when I started shifting into, personal growth and coaching and helping others, when I started creating my coaching business, it was a hell of a transition. Like the gap between here to here was massive. Because coming from this place of consciousness, that lifestyle, that way of thinking, that way of being, of dressing, of acting, of relating to myself, how others perceive me, to going to a coach, helping others, starting your own business, being an entrepreneur, selling, marketing yourself, all of this stuff, massive gap. And so at the beginning, I felt fake. I felt like a fraud. I felt like it's never going to work. I felt too young, unexperienced. Nobody's going to buy it. They don't have the money. I don't know where to find clients. I had all those limitations, all those thoughts, all those feelings of insecurity that were rooted in my current state of consciousness back then. And so what I needed to do is to really understand, become familiar, go into who do I need to become? What is the type of thought, the type of thinking, the type of way I need to relate with sales, the way I need to relate with marketing, the way I need to relate to money, the way I need to relate to myself and the business and all those type of things, right? I needed to start embodying and seeing myself as a successful entrepreneur, as somebody who's able to help others, as somebody who's able to create the level of impact that I have with my clients. I needed to start believing all those things in order to create that reality. And in order to be able to do that transition, I first needed to understand that that level of consciousness here was the anchor to the old reality. And so all my limiting thoughts about money, about sales, about marketing, about finding clients, about how hard it is to make money, all of those things and shadows that were there, I needed to let them go. I needed to let go of those attachments. I needed to let go of that way of seeing reality from that, let's say, lower level of consciousness. And I needed to train myself and embody a higher way for me to relate it to the reality that I wanted. Because as long as I was out of sync, out of alignment, with what I wanted to create in my life, because I'm thinking different, because I'm not vibing in the same way, because I'm not taking action from that place, because I'm sitting in fears, because I'm procrastinating, because I'm afraid to take action, because I'm just sitting and meditating. And so because of all of those things, it creates those roadblocks. So all of this to say that shifting your identity is definitely the most powerful thing that you need to do. The question then is, okay, how do I go there? How do you bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be? It's actually simple, but again, it's not easy, because it's something that you need to hammer in your subconscious mind every single day, and not just when you sit and visualize and affirm and go through all those mental exercises, which are extremely important, by the way, and have a massive importance to do. But it's also in when you stand up from the chair. Can you sustain that energy? Can you make different decisions? Can you prioritize your time differently? Can you show up in a different way? Can you make different decisions? Can you face some of your fear? Can you be that new person every day a little bit more? Can you throw away some of your old clothes that no longer resonate with you, right? All those little things that really make you feel like I'm moving there, I'm being there, and that create and reinforce that momentum, because now you're showing life, I'm a different person. So let's reverse engineer a little bit how this process works. And I'm not going to go into how to visualize and how to do all those things, because I've got a lot of videos. But I want to give you a clear way to think about how to find out who you need to become. What you need first is absolute clarity with what you want to have, right? What is that version of yourself look like there? Well, you know how it will look like, who you need to become, by knowing what do I want in my life. But you need to know where am I and what do I want instead. And don't be too vague. I just want more money. I want to be a bit healthier. I want to be happier. It's too broad. Your subconscious mind will give you $10 here. You're richer, okay? So you got to be very specific. You got to have a clear number, a clear target, something you can measure, something you can keep yourself accountable, something you can see vividly in your visualization, right? Because it's going to help us to answer the next and very powerful question. Once you know what you want, the question is not how do I get there, but who do I need to become to create that reality? And answering that question is so important. Who do I need to become? How do I think? How do I feel? How do I act How do I prioritize my time? How do I dress? How do I show up? How do I drive my car? How do I talk to people? How do I talk to myself? How am I differently there versus here? That's the key. Becoming familiar, becoming crystal clear with that distinction, and then asking myself, what can I do today to bridge that gap? What are some of those things I've just listed that I can start to embody today? Maybe I can dress up differently. Maybe I can just practice walking around in a shopping mall, feeling abundant, looking at things without thinking it's too expensive, I can't afford it, but just walking, pretending I have the money to buy this, that, and everything I want, right? That can be an exercise. That can be taking courses to learn about certain specific skill sets and knowledge that you need in order to go to that level. Whatever it is, you need that clarity so that you can start embodying it, not only when you visualize and when you affirm and when you do all that mental work to reprogram your mind, yes, but also when you live your life, so that you don't live your life from the old program and from the old identity and the old way of being. You gotta break that unconsciousness in your life. Otherwise, you'll keep on doing the same thing, thinking the same thing, and you'll stagnate. No matter how much visualization, affirmation you do, you'll feel like you're advancing, but you're kind of holding back as well. And so if you've been having that feeling that things are growing but not really, or they're kind of like stagnating, it's most likely, from my experience, most likely because you're not embodying. Maybe because you're afraid, maybe because you don't have the clarity, I don't know. But often it's because people are afraid to do certain things, to show up in a different way. And when you break that gap, you'll see life showing up in a new way for you. So I hope this video makes sense, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment. If you have any form of question, write them down in the comment. I will see you next time. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Be well.